Welcome to Those Guys Sports. It is your boy Mike, and this is my NBA Weekly podcast. I don't have much to talk about because I feel like as a Raptor fan, I'm constantly waiting on the report about Pascal Siakam. As you have probably listened to, and if you haven't, make sure you listen to it. Check the TikTok, check the other YouTube video where I'm just talking about Pascal Siakam, how much I'm disliking the fact that this man is in multiple trade rumors. It's starting to get frustrating. It's getting annoying. Now, what that leads to is the man that's behind me right now, Dame Lillard. There's consistent trade rumors about Damian Lillard. Now, the trade rumors are and started from him. Let's go back. Let's go real back. Dame decides to sign his extension. He keeps telling the ownership, management team, I would like to have a good team around me. I would like quality wings. I would like quality bigs. I know he doesn't want star players. Like, he doesn't want superstar players. He doesn't want a super team. If anything, he wants them to come to him, if he's being honest. But he's looking at everyone else winning titles, and he's thinking to himself, he's not getting any younger. He's still as talented as can be. Still a top 10 player in some people's eyes. He wants that spot. He wants to be number one. Wants to have that title. So he goes, signs his contract, then looks at them. They're telling him, hey, Dame, we need you to sit out this coming season, this offseason, because we need you to understand that we're going to get a top 10 draft pick. At the time, they're thinking the top 10. And we're going to trade that for a quality player, maybe a Pascal Siakam, maybe a Karl-Anthony Towns. We're going to trade you. We're going to get someone, maybe a Paul George. We'll get you someone for sure, Dame. We're going to get you someone. They get the third overall pick. They jump all the way up to the third overall pick. They're thinking to themselves, okay, we're good. We're going to trade for a quality star. No team is really budging for them. No one's helping them out. None of that's happening. So guess what? They keep the third overall pick. And Michael Jordan and the Charlotte Hornets I wouldn't call it a horrible decision. I would just pick Scoot over Brandon Miller. That's just me. I would pick Scoot over Brandon Miller. Now, picking Scoot over Brandon Miller is a choice that I would make, but not a lot of people would make that. But Scoot goes to the Portland Trailblazers. And everyone's thinking to themselves, Scoot is a gem. Scoot is a guy that would be number one overall pick next year if he was coming out that draft. He would have been number one this year too, but he just happened to be a 7'5" Frenchman in the way. Scoot is that talented. You believe that Scoot can be a Russell Westbrook, Derrick Rose type player. And if you're thinking he could be that, that's an MVP. So if you're Portland, you're thinking to yourself, do we go the Dame timeline or we go the Scoot timeline? Well, the obvious choice that many people are saying is you go the Scoot timeline. I said trade Dame. But now Dame is requested for a trade. After all this mess of keeping Scoot, when I think they potentially promised him that they weren't going to keep him, Dame wants out. But Dame only wants to go to Miami. And that's the issue. Dame only wants to go to Miami, limits what they can do, limits the access they can get. I'm pretty sure there are other teams that are looking at the Portland Trailblazers like, hey, we would like to trade for Dame. We want Dame. I'm pretty sure Masai called and said, hey, like, they didn't get KD, but Dame is a much healthier player, would actually go very well with a Pascal and OG. I'm pretty sure multiple teams are calling for it. I'm pretty sure even the team at the Clippers, because they're calling for James Harden, but they don't really have draft picks to get. And I'm pretty sure the Portland Trailblazers want draft picks, even though they got two studs, and Scoot Henderson and Shannon Sharp. But Dame wants to only go to Miami. He only wants to play with Jimmy and Bam. He basically said if he goes to any other team, he's not going to be happy. So the organization is it's in a tough position. Do you piss off arguably your second or number one for some best Portland Trailblazer of all time? Do you piss them off? Is that going to hurt you down the line? No, it's not. It hasn't hurt people before. It's not going to hurt people now. It didn't stop Jimmy Butler from going to Miami after what Pat Riley did to Dwayne Wade. It's not going to stop anyone from going to Portland after whatever they do with Damian Lillard. Nothing's going to stop. No train is going to stop it. Scoot Henderson is still the future of that team. So I don't know what's going to happen there. When it comes to Dame and the organization, they do need to come together and figure out something. If Dame said he's willing to go anywhere, as long as it's a championship winning organization, then I think a lot they'll do it. The thing is that Portland doesn't want Tyler Hero, and Miami's offered Tyler Hero. So now Brooklyn comes. Brooklyn said, "Okay, we'll give you some assets. We will take out Tyler Hero because that would match well with the two guys in Cam Johnson and Mikael Bridges that we have." Well, no one wants that either. I do think when the dust settles, that will be the trade. It'll be a 3-team, 4-team trade where you'll see Tyler Hero go to Brooklyn. Jimmy and Bam will introduce Damian Lillard as their third partner. I think it's going to happen. He wants to go there. And I don't believe owners are going to cause a rift with an organization. I don't think they're going to want to make themselves look bad by trading Dame to any team that they want to trade to Dame to. I don't see that happening. But this whole thing needs to be settled soon. I think we're all looking forward to the day that comes that Portland decides to trade Dame to the right team. But in saying all that, a couple days ago, the GM comes out and says, "We'll wait. We'll wait for the right time. They're in no rush." The GM saying they're in no rush to trade Dame. Dame will like to be traded because I'm pretty sure we all know what's going to happen. So it's most likely it's just going to happen during, maybe a week or two before the season begins. Because I'm confident Dame is not going to want to play on a team that he's already requested a trade for. He doesn't want to disrespect the fans like that. He wants to go out there and compete. I'm curious what's going to happen. This saga is going to continue throughout the summer. We need drama. This and James Harden are the two biggest dramas that we have currently. There's not really a lot of free agents that still haven't been signed. There's guys like Christian Wood, Bismack Biyombo that haven't been signed, but Dame and James Harden are really holding everything together. There's still a potential Pascal Siakam trade, which I don't want to hear, not for at all as a Raptor fan. But that's something that you hear. But let me move on to talk about Victor Wembanyama. Victor played his first Summer League game. I don't want to call it underwhelming. Summer League is Summer League. You'll get some good games, you get some poor games. This is what it is. His second game, though, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 12, 13 rebounds. Victor showed out. He showed a little bit of his bag. I think Victor could be really nice. If I'm Victor, and this is not right now, this is the first year, you may just want to get your feet wet. But to become that superstar player, he already has the greatest coach he can have, teaching him how to play. And that's Tim Duncan, who is, I think Tim Duncan's still an assistant coach. Well, Tim Duncan's assistant coach. Hey, Tim, let me improve my footwork. Let me improve my jumper. How great can I be defensively? Tim Duncan be one of the best big man defenders ever. Teach me how I can be there. Victor has a lot of talent. He's already a better three-point shooter than Tim Duncan has ever was. Of course, different league at the time. But Tim can still shoot that ball. So he can just always ask him, heck, I'm calling Akeem. Hey, Akeem, teach me a little bit of the footwork. I think there's so we saw a video of him and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I'm thinking with Kareem can teach him a lot too. But Kareem's older, much older man. You can't teach him too much. But there's so much big men that he can go to for help. The one guy I don't think he should ask for a lot of help is from Shaq. Shaq was a dominant force. A guy like Joel Embiid should be talking to Shaq and be like, how more dominant can I get? What do I need to do to become more dominant? I think Shaq would be like, when you get that ball, don't look at nothing else. Just look to attack. The more you attack, then it gives everyone to be open. Then you're a good passer already. You pass out the ball. But with Victor, it's all about footwork with him. It's going to be all about what he can do in the post. Much as people may not want him to post and want to work on this and that, the best version of Victor can be someone who can play on both ends. Heck, there's even a guy in Carl-Anthony Towns that could help him out a lot. Because Carl-Anthony Towns is one of the better shooting bigs in the league. A guy who has the ability to post. When it comes to an offensive bag, Carl-Anthony Towns has the bag. He really does. He may not have any defensive skill. And he may not be a guy that you really want to lead your team. But offensively gifted, he's that. Now, when it comes to the defensive side, Victor Wembanyama, he has it. He has the ability to impact games. He's too small now. He's a frail of what he's going to be, next coming years. Look at, KD. KD was a very skinny guy coming into the league. He's bulked up. Now they will never be. He'll never turn into Shaq size. Like KD never turned into LeBron. They're still going to be their small, slender self, but they're going to get stronger, and he's going to become a better defensive player. He has defensive player of the year in him, and the ability that he has there, it's there. It's all there. So Victor's second summer league game really showed us that this guy is talented. And the thing with summer league, it's just summer league. They've already said that they're shutting him down for the rest. He's not going to play, and that's smart. When you have that talent, you don't risk injury. You let him play the games in the regular season. That's what's going to matter the most. That's what it is. Shouts out to Pop though. Pop got a 5-year, $80 million contract, or like a 90 mil. Arguably the greatest coach of all time. Let's see what he does with Victor Wembanyama. He's still a great coach. I think people always forget that year that Tim Duncan retired, and I think Tony Parker left as well. And it was just it was DeMar and LaMarcus Aldridge. They were like a top 5 seed. They were a top 5 seed. Had I think a 48-34 record. Pretty good team. They actually lost to Dame, I believe. It was Dame they lost when they lost to Dame. And I think that if they beat Dame, I would have believed that they would have made it to the conference finals that year. Probably lost to LeBron, but which would have been another DeMar loss to LeBron, which we don't want to have to see. That's something that I think would have potentially happened. Now, the one thing that was announced was the in-season tournament. The only question I have about it, the in-season tournament, is what's happening to the other teams that don't make it to the top 8. Does the regular season get like flipped? Because I know when it comes to scheduling, there's arenas that they have to get a hold of. There's a whole like thing that they have to prepare themselves for. So I feel like if you're not part of the top 8, what really happens to you? And when you're top 8, it's including the regular season games. So is everyone else? Like, I don't know what everyone else is playing. Unless they're all just playing each other at that time where the top 8 is. I don't know. That's the only thing I'm really confused about. How does the regular season go? But I also realize they're not releasing the regular season, the rest of it. They're not releasing it until after the tournament, which is smart. Because if there's a team like OKC that is playing really well, you want to put them on more primetime games. Or if there's a team like, let's say, the Lakers aren't good, of course the Lakers still want to put them on primetime, but you give them less primetime games. You give Phoenix less primetime games if they're not doing what you expect them to do. You give a different team more primetime games because you're like, okay, I didn't think the Orlando Magic would be the second seed in the East. Here you go. Here's more primetime games. Everyone's gonna know that Pablo, Franz are all good players. DeMarcus Fultz is having a most improved type player season. That's where you get guys' names out there. That's how you build more people knowing the product, is when you have all these different teams. The NFL will always be king because people don't root for Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. They root for the Chiefs. They root for the Packers. They root for the Giants. And that's what the league is trying to do. I definitely could like the tournament. It's something different. I also just like something different. I hope people don't, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about Chris Paul. And they're thinking if Chris Paul were to win this midseason tournament, the amount of memes, jokes that would be made, and saying that, oh, well, he can't win the big one, but he did win this one. I do believe that the first few seasons, the NBA has to make sure that this is always competitive and make sure it's always fun. And I think it's always going to be good when a top 3, top 6 team on either conference is winning. You don't want to see a miraculous run from our Orlando Magic that wins all these games, ends up in the finals and winning the title. You don't want to see all that. You want to make sure that it's the competitive teams. It's the Lakers. It's the Golden State Warriors, who are honestly my early pick to win it. I'm not sure. You need Jokic to care. Jokic has to care about this. I definitely know Giannis will care, but Jokic has to care. If Jokic is like, oh, I care more for the NBA Finals, then what's it for? You need guys to care about the in-season tournament. You need your top players to care. When they care, it'll be much better. Much, much better. In the upcoming weeks, I think some of the things I'm going to talk about is like probably going to do like a top 50 players in the league. I did it before, probably going to do it again. I still have multiple podcasts coming up with different people that I've reached out to. So I'm hoping that will happen as well very shortly. It's the off season now, so people are a little bit more free, which is good because the NBA, it's gonna get free agency is gone, draft is gone, summer league is about to leave and go soon. So that August is kind of that slow period. Then September picks up. Maybe we may see some Rico Hines runs. Talk about that. But we're curious to see what's the best version of everyone. You're gonna see the Lakers video that I'm gonna make, basically saying the Lakers are good, but LeBron's still 38. Let's like never forget that LeBron's 38. How good is the Washington Wizards gonna be? I don't really know. And when it comes to them, I may not really care too much because I don't believe they have anyone who is a superstar. You have guys who can score 25 points a game, but that's irrelevant in the grand scheme. They're all going to be, you know, just a good player on a bad team. And I don't care for that stats because it's going to be irrelevant overall. But yeah, that's just my today's NBA weekly podcast. Just got to chime in, talk about the Dame, talk about Victor, talk about the in-season tournament. Like I said, if I had to predict a team to win, I pick Golden State. Just believe just because of what they can do in one game. So it's just a one game. I do like the fact that it's like pool play. You have like 6 pools, 5 teams just competing. And it does make those games more meaningful in November and December. I think it's going to be fun. I'm actually anticipating, especially the first year. I know it's going to be fun. I think even LeBron's going to try, because someone one day is going to argue that LeBron's better than Michael Jordan because he has this additional title, which Michael Jordan never had, and probably would have won multiple of those ones too if they were there. Honestly, he probably would have won them. But that's it for me. Make sure you check out the TikTok. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you again. Peace.